Many people believe they'll only find peace when everything around them is completely quiet. But the truth is something else. You could be on vacation, have money in the bank, and no one demanding anything from you, and still feel like your mind is collapsing inside. Because true peace doesn't depend on your circumstances. It depends on the inner structure you've built to face them. And that structure doesn't fall apart all at once. It fractures in silence, a returning annoyance, a poorly processed word, a tension that grows without warning, until you realize it's not the world pulling you out of balance. It's your mind that stopped protecting itself. But yes, there is a way back. Yes, there are habits that shield your calm. They're not magic tricks. They are practical and profound. Stoic habits. They change how you react, how you interpret, how you live. And today, I'll show you 10 Stoic habits that restore your inner peace. And the first one starts with a decision. Habit 1. Before you react, breathe. Picture this. You're in traffic. The clock is ticking, your phone won't stop vibrating, and everything around you seems designed to make you lose your mind. Then, as if the universe is testing you, a car cuts you off violently and honks like it's your fault. Everything inside you screams for a reaction. Anger rises like dry fire, and your first impulse is to hit back. But that's where the difference begins, between those who live at the mercy of the world and those who've learned to protect themselves from within. As Epictetus said, it's not things that upset us, but our judgment of them. The event is neutral. What changes is the lens through which you see it. You can see it as a personal attack, or do what few dare to do. Pause. Breathing before reacting isn't weakness, it's silent resistance. Each inhale becomes a shield between you and the chaos, as if you're saying, "Inside here, I'm the one in charge." Breathing changes your heart rate, your voice, and the direction of the entire conversation. It's not just oxygen, it's pure emotional intelligence. Those few seconds of breath buy you time, and time is power, the freedom to not become what hurt you. So next time you feel your blood boil, make a deal with yourself. Before any word, any gesture, any decision, inhale, hold, exhale. Let the air flow where anger wants to stay, because emotional maturity begins right there. In the space between stimulus and response, train this. Let your breath be your first shield, because those who breathe before reacting live with fewer regrets. Habit 2. Observe but don't absorb. Have you ever replayed a comment someone made hours ago, over and over in your mind? It wasn't a direct insult, maybe not even intentional, but the tone, or what wasn't said, got stuck. The conversation ended, but the words stayed like a persistent echo in your head. You tried to move on, but your mind kept circling back. You imagined what you could have said, how you should have defended yourself. You allowed something external to become internal noise. That's what happens when you stop observing and start absorbing. When you allow a provocation to settle inside you, like it had a right to stay there, but it doesn't, and it never did. Epictetus warned us, if someone tries to hurt you, it's your judgment that creates the wound. It's not what they said that hurts. It's what you believe about what they said. You are the one who lets the offense in. Your mind should be like a well-kept house. Clean, guarded, quiet inside. You wouldn't let a muddy stranger walk freely through your living room. So why let words filled with sarcasm or judgment walk through your thoughts? Emotional maturity is the ability to listen without becoming contaminated, to recognize aggression for what it is, a reflection of someone else's chaos, not yours. When someone throws an empty criticism or insensitive joke, picture it like an object thrown at a wall. It can make noise, but it only enters if your wall is cracked. Strengthen your inner boundary. You can hear everything, and only absorb what helps you grow. You can perceive without reacting, and often the silence of not reacting is more powerful than any response. Habit 3. Don't engage in useless fights. Some arguments don't start because of differing opinions. They start because someone's ego felt threatened. Sometimes all it takes is a poorly chosen word, a weird look, or even silence mistaken as offense, and suddenly a misunderstanding becomes a battlefield. Before you know it, you're in a war you didn't even mean to start. That's how we waste energy, on fights that teach us nothing, transform us into nothing, and leave us drained and frustrated. In the heat of the moment, no one listens. No one wants to understand. They just want to win. But win what? As Marcus Aurelius said, avoid futile arguments. They distract the soul from its path. Even if you get the last word, you lose something invisible, your peace, your focus, your self-respect. It's easy to take the bait, to snap back, to play the game, to fight for the last word. But that only proves your impulses still control you. The hard thing? Take a step back, breathe, and ask yourself, if I win this argument, what do I really win? Most of the time the answer is nothing, no trophy, just exhaustion. So what can you do? Choose silence, not as an escape, but as protection, not from weakness, but from self-control. Refusing to enter chaos is an act of inner strength. You're saying to yourself, my time, my energy, my peace are not up for sale. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. Your growth is more important than being right. Some battles are won precisely when you refuse to fight. You're not here to win arguments. You're here to win clarity, to evolve, to rise. So the next time someone tries to pull you into a meaningless clash, remember, choosing silence isn't cowardice. Cowardice is losing yourself to feed your pride. Habit 4. Change the thought, not the problem. Sometimes what destroys you isn't what happened, but what you think it means. You hear a criticism, a cold comment, a sudden attitude shift, and immediately your mind writes a story. Not just about the event, but about your worth, your identity, your place in the world. That comment becomes a sentence. That moment becomes a distorted mirror. That's what happens when we live on autopilot. We don't respond to facts. We respond to the stories we create around them. Seneca warned us, suffering comes more from our opinions than from reality. Your mind exaggerates, invents, dramatizes, and suddenly you're carrying a weight that didn't come from the world, but from your interpretation. Stoics trained to do the opposite. They didn't seek comfort in motivational quotes. They searched for clarity through hard questions. How can I grow from this? Does this really say something about me, or more about the other person? What am I assuming is true without thinking it through? Asking better questions allows you to rewrite the thought. You can't erase what happened, but you can choose where it lives inside you. That shift is liberating. You stop fueling wounds with automatic thoughts and start building discernment. You don't let criticism paralyze you. You turn it into fuel for inner strength. To rewrite a thought doesn't mean denying the pain, it means stripping it of its power over you. Like looking at a storm and saying, I can't stop the rain, but I know how to build shelter. That shelter is built with conscious decisions, with new ways of interpreting things, with the habit of not accepting the first thought as absolute truth. Practice this. Every time something affects you, write down what happened. Then, under it, write 3 alternative versions of the same event. 1, a more neutral one. 2, a more optimistic one. 3, a more strategic one. Watch how your mind responds. Train this daily, because the mind can be reshaped. As long as you're willing to become the author of your thoughts, not just a spectator. In the end, it's not the world that needs to change so you can have peace. It's the meaning you assign to what the world gives you, and that meaning has always been in your hands. Habit 5. Don't expect others to act like you would. One of the most subtle causes of frustration is expecting others to have the same heart as you, that they think like you, act like you, give like you. You give with integrity, offer support, show loyalty. And deep down, even if you don't admit it, you expect the same in return. But often, it doesn't come. You show respect and receive disrespect. You're kind and get coldness. You're transparent and are met with silence. Then comes the bitter cycle. Your mind tries to understand, justify, make sense of it, but all you feel is injustice. Am I the problem, you ask? But no, it's the expectation that others would behave like you do. Marcus Aurelius said, "Expect people to act according to their nature, not your expectations." That changes everything, because as long as you expect others to treat you with the same consciousness you carry, you'll keep hurting. People act based not on what you deserve, but based on what they've learned, what they carry, including traumas, limitations, fears, and wounds you can't see. Accepting that is not giving up on people. It's freeing yourself from needing to be understood by those not yet capable of understanding. It's knowing that everyone gives what they can, based on their level of awareness. Demanding maturity from someone still living on autopilot is like expecting a seed to behave like a tree. It won't happen, and you'll just keep getting disappointed. So instead of expecting equal reciprocity, act by conviction. Stay loyal, kind, clear, not because others deserve it, but because that's who you are. You don't do good to control others. You do good to remain whole. That's not naive, that's strength. But be clear, this isn't about accepting everything. It's about setting boundaries. Adjust what you offer based on what the other is emotionally able to receive. Stop draining yourself trying to change someone who doesn't want to change. Most of all, protect your energy from the frustration of a basic error, expecting sweet fruit from someone who hasn't even grown roots. Practice this. When someone disappoints you, instead of blaming yourself, write down what you expected, and next to it, write, "That was my expectation, not their obligation." That simple shift brings clarity. It gives you the power to keep being who you are, without making yourself sick trying to understand what isn't in your control. Because true peace isn't found in making others act like you would. It's found in staying whole, even when they can't. Habit 6. Control your body to control your mind. Most people try to calm their mind using arguments, but they forget. The mind listens first to the body. When anger shows up, it doesn't send a warning, it creeps in. A heat rising through your back, a knot in your stomach, a tight jaw. The body sounds the alarm before the thought even forms. And if you're not paying attention, you're already reacting before you know it. Epictetus taught, "The first step in self-control is to govern what others can see, the body, the tone, the posture, and only then govern what no one sees, the mind." It makes perfect sense. Your body is the messenger of emotion. When you tense up, clench your jaw, speed up your breath, you're signaling to your brain, "We're in danger." Even if you're not. That signal warps everything. Your perception, your words, your decisions. That's why Stoics learn to start with the body. Before you speak, breathe. Before you react, relax your shoulders. Before making a decision, check your state. Often, it's not the situation pressing you, it's your body already in defense mode, even when there's no real threat. Controlling the body doesn't mean pretending to be calm, it means building the physiology of calmness. When everything pushes you to scream, lower your voice. When your instinct says, "Move forward," take a step back. That's how you flip the game. It's not just self-control, it's emotional leadership. If you don't lead your body will lead you. And in that state, you'll always react like a hostage, not like a choice. The true power lies in the one who feels the rage rise, but chooses not to explode. Want a real practice? Pick a time of day when you usually get irritated. Traffic, unanswered emails, tense meetings. Before acting, take a deep breath for 3 seconds and move your neck slowly. It might seem small, but that gesture tells your brain, "We're in control." Do that consistently, and you train your mind to stay clear, even in the middle of chaos, because the body is the first to be affected, and it can also be the first to save you. Those who learn to listen to their body's signals gain time. And those who gain time gain power. The power to no longer be dragged by your own reactions. Habit 7. Walk away from what unbalances you. There are places where the soul shrinks. You walk in smiling, but end up staying silent. Not because you're weak, but because the tension is overwhelming. Sometimes it's not even something explicit. Nobody attacks you. Nobody tells you to leave. But something inside says, I can't breathe here. And yet, you insist. Because you think it's just a phase. Because you were taught to tough it out. You believe it'll get better. But what actually adjusts is your limits. You start thinking it's normal to live on edge, to tiptoe like everything's fragile. You think it's normal to feel exhausted, while pretending everything is fine. But Epictetus said, if something weakens your soul, walk away. Don't negotiate with what destabilizes you. Don't get used to emotional discomfort as if it's just part of the deal. Picture your mind as a glass of clean water. Every toxic environment, every manipulative presence, every draining relationship is a drop of dark ink. At first, the water still looks clear. But drop by drop, day after day, you become murky without even noticing, until one day you look in the mirror and don't recognize yourself. That's why walking away is necessary, not as punishment, but as purification. It's not about running from problems. It's about refusing to poison yourself with things that won't change. You can be a good person without always being available. You can keep your integrity, even when you walk away from what drains you. Here's your practice. Identify one cycle that exhausts you, a repetitive conversation, an imposed obligation, a group where you cancel yourself. Now set a clear boundary. Maybe it's a one-day pause. Maybe it's less time. Maybe it's total silence. Notice what happens inside you in that space. If you feel lighter, that's the sign you never needed to carry that burden. Some places don't let you bloom. They only make you endure. And enduring everything isn't a virtue. It's self-abandonment. Maturity is knowing when to stay and when to walk away. Habit 8. Practice Stoic empathy every day. There's a kind of wisdom that doesn't yell. It simply observes and behaves differently. That's what Stoics called seeing beyond the surface. Imagine everyone around you is carrying a backpack. You can't see what's inside, but they feel the weight. Some are loaded with anger, others with fear. Some don't even know what they're carrying. And without meaning to, you get hit by the overflow. Maybe it's a rude employee, a defensive coworker, a family member blaming everything on you. Instinct tells you to react, but wisdom says, look again. Is this person really talking to me, or to the world that already hurt them? Stoic empathy isn't about stepping into someone else's shoes. It's about realizing maybe they don't even know where they're standing. It's not personal, it's historical. And most importantly, you don't have to amplify that cycle. Marcus Aurelius practiced this, even with political enemies. Before judging someone, he asked himself, if I had lived their exact life, would I act any differently? That reflection doesn't change them, but it changes how you see them, and that changes everything. When you stop expecting coherence from those living in conflict, you stop being disappointed. When you realize it's not about you, you free yourself from the attack. And when you refuse the victim role, you become the protagonist of your response. Practice this. Choose one difficult person, someone close from work or someone always defensive, instead of labeling them, he doesn't like me, she's arrogant. Try the opposite. Write down 3 invisible reasons why they might be acting that way. Not to justify, but to soften your judgment. You'll notice something amazing. When the mind opens to understanding, the body lightens, irritation fades, tone softens, tension disappears, and a conflict that seemed inevitable never even begins. That's Stoic empathy. It's recognizing pain without carrying it. It's seeing someone's burden without making it yours. It's choosing emotional stability, no matter who walks in. Habit 9. Cut the excess. Live the essential. Some days you feel exhausted, but don't even know why. You look back and can't name one truly important thing you did. Just constant reactions, interruptions, fake urgencies. Your energy was hijacked by small things. Seneca said, "Happiness is in focusing on what matters." But the world pushes the opposite. It drowns you in distractions, drama, and false urgency. If you don't choose what gets your attention, someone else will. You react to a rude comment, argue with someone who cuts in line, get mad at a post, answer a pointless email, and by the end of the day, your mind is drained. Not from anything meaningful, but from what should have lasted 5 seconds. Stoics called it death by 1,000 invisible cuts. You don't fall from one blow. You drain from daily wastes of focus. The solution? Live intentionally. Choose where to invest your energy, like a farmer picking the right soil, because every thought you feed, every emotion you nurture, is a seed, and whatever you water grows. Practice this. Next time something annoys you, ask 2 questions. Will this matter in 5 days? Will this matter in 5 years? If the answer is no, let it go. Don't pour energy where there's no return. Don't offer your attention like it's infinite. Habit 10. End the day like a Stoic. There is a moment that defines how your peace evolves, the way you end your day. Many people go to sleep physically tired, but mentally overstimulated. The body shuts down, but the mind keeps running. Replaying conversations, rehashing frustrations, jumping between thoughts with no closure. You lie down, but peace doesn't come. That's because the mind doesn't shut off by itself. It needs to be guided. The Stoics had a practice. Every night before bed, they reviewed the day, not to judge themselves, but to grow consciously. Marcus Aurelius would write in his journal. Epictetus would reflect in silence. They asked, "What did I do well today? Where did I fall short? How can I be better tomorrow?" Not as a ritual of guilt, but as a process of reflection. You now have in your hands 10 Stoic habits that can restore your peace, not temporarily, but for life, not dependent on others, not on the noise outside, not on control over every situation, but rooted in the one thing you truly command, yourself. If you want a different life, you need a different mind, and this doesn't require perfection, just commitment. A commitment to pause instead of explode, to observe instead of absorb, to step away instead of wearing yourself down, to choose clarity instead of control. If this message resonated with you, write in the comments, "I choose calm," because the world might still be loud, chaotic, and confusing, but your mind can be your sanctuary.